My name is Don Wayne, and welcome to In the Nova, where we talk to tomorrow's stars today. It's not a hype train. We just double down deep in discovery with tomorrow's icons. And today, I am joined by the one and only Psylosia. She's going to be joining me from Miami. And I got to tell you, there is something special about this artist. The very first song that I heard of hers is a song called Don't Pretend, and it literally gave me goosebumps. You can just hear the beautiful sorrow that comes out of her voice. And of course, her producer, Dxlph Dayana, they work so well together, but we're going to talk with her and get to know her a little bit more. So let's go ahead and head over to that conversation. Right now, here is the one and only Psylosia. Where are you from?
So originally I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina, a small town on the coast of North Carolina. That's where I grew up. I was born and raised there. And then I actually moved to Miami when I was 18 in 2020, and that's when I began my music journey.
What brought you to Miami?
Well, I guess a few things. When I graduated high school, I wanted to do something else with my life, and I wanted to go somewhere. And my older cousin, who's like my big sister, she was living in Florida. So I actually came to visit her, and then I just ended up falling in love with Miami. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a gap year from school and move to Miami and just kind of see what happens.
So when you got to Miami, how did you start getting involved in, music, music production, recordings, things like that?
So I grew up singing. So I grew up doing chorus, and I was in church choruses and in choir in school and that kind of thing. And I just always had a love for singing and for music, of course, too. And so long story short, I graduated high school, and I was actually going into nursing. And then I just, decided to take a gap year, kind of try something new. And then after I visited Miami, I kind of had this epiphany that I wanted to embark on music, like the industry of music. And so I moved here, long story short, whatever. So when I moved here to Miami, I decided to try and intern at recording studios just to meet people and learn. At that point, I didn't know if I wanted to be an artist or what I wanted to be. I just know I wanted to be in the industry. So I just decided to get an internship to just learn, because I didn't know anything about, the music industry at all. So, so I actually met someone at this job I was working that had a connection to a studio. And then I got an interview for an internship there and got hired and was interning there and started meeting people and all that kind of thing. And then COVID happened, and, the world shut down.
Right. Yeah.
And so, that was 2020. And then I actually moved back home to North Carolina because I'd only been in Miami for 2 months, and COVID happened. And so I went back. And then when I went back home is when I actually started making music, because it was COVID, and, I feel like we all kind of developed new hobbies and stuff through COVID. Yeah, I made a song with some friends from high school, and then I sent the song back to the studio I had been at in Miami, and they thought the song was cool. And I wasn't thinking that would happen, but I was just sending it to get it mixed, and whatever. I ended up coming back after sending the song, and then I kind of really met a lot of people that way and started really making music. So
when you started doing music production and back home, were you doing the production yourself, or were you working with you mentioned a producer, you said a friend of yours up there?
Well, so when I made my first song, I literally just made it over YouTube Beat. I don't really produce much myself. I actually have a partner in Psylosia, Dxlph Dayana, who is my partner. We're like really like a duo, and he is the one that produces everything, and he's insanely talented. And I met him when I came back to Miami after, COVID and making this song. I met him in the studio in like August of 2020 when I was at the beginning of my journey, and he and I have been working together ever since. We're really close, and yeah, we really just started like kind of becoming a duo at that point, but it didn't really like evolve into I guess what it is now until like 2023. So yeah, he produces everything, and we've been working together since like 2020. And yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, he does an incredible job, because your vocals, like Don't Pretend, that song, of course, that song, you wrote it, but that song, that's the very first song that I ever heard of yours. And it's not even that old, is it? It's like just a couple of months, right?
No, yeah, actually, that was my last release, surprisingly enough.
Would you get jealous if he was working with like another vocalist or what?
No. I mean, when we first met, like, he was working with a lot of other people, and he still does work with other people, and it just kind of, our like partnership, I guess, just kind of evolved into like the main thing that we're both doing like over the years. But yeah, I mean, he has kind of mentored me in a lot of ways, because he's a few years older than me, and when I was getting into the industry and I knew nothing, he had already been doing it for probably like 10 years at that point. And now he's probably been doing it, I don't know, 15 years or so, most of his life. So yeah, he knew a lot, when I came in, and really has helped me learn so much of what I know.
That's really cool. And he's still up in the Carolinas?
No, he's in Miami. I met him. Yeah, he's from Miami, so born and raised here.
Okay, my bad. I thought you were saying that. I guess that was a different friend when you went back home and you started making music.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry if I'm like doing a bad job explaining things.
No.
I'm a little
believe
nervous.
Me, it's me. My wife tells me all the time, I need a
No. I should have like made that more clear. My friend that wrote my first song with me was just like a high school bestie, and someone that I was like hanging out with when I went back home during COVID. And then she was just like a girlfriend of mine, and we made the song over a YouTube beat, and then, everything kind of happened from there. So
yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
There's no other Psylosia. So like, how did you come up with that? Or is that did your parents name you that or what?
No, actually. Okay. So, so my real name is Charlotte Waltz. Yeah. So that's my real name. And I was actually using that as my artist name at first. And then I kind of, I don't know, I went through a lot at first. And then I kind of realized like, I want to, I don't know, create a name that like I've never heard before, kind of like an alias sort of, I guess, which, I mean, I guess it's not so much of an alias because I'm not like hiding my face or anything, but, as far as the name and just the persona and character and world of it all, the more I got into the industry and started learning, so many things, I realized that it's important to have that in whatever way, it is I don't know, whatever way you do it.
Nice.
So yeah, that was why I decided to create the name Psylosia. And basically,
is it Psylosia or Psylosia?
Either or, Psylosia or Psylosia.
Because my wife and I actually got into a little debate about this, because I kept saying Psylosia, and she goes, "No, it's Psylosia," and I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure."
No, you're both right.
Okay, good. That's so good to know.
Whatever rolls off your tongue, the best way. Yeah. So it was actually this was really the point where like Dxlph and I really came together as a team and a duo, was because we created Psylosia together, or Psylosia together. And we were like, okay, we want to create a new name, like a whole new platform, everything. And, we were asking ourselves lots of questions, like, what do we want the music to sound like? What do we, want it to feel like? And we knew that we wanted the name to be something that like we had never heard before, we had never seen before. It didn't, it was the only thing you could type in on Google and nothing else would pop up. We wanted it to be very unique.
Right.
I have like lists of just so many names that we were brainstorming, so many silly and funny, like weird names, And then after brainstorming lots of really bad ones, I was like, you know what? Flowers have really cool names. So we were looking at flower names, and I found this flower called Psylosia, Celosia.
Wow.
And I just really liked that, really liked the ring of it. And yeah. And so I decided to take the logia and then replace the CEL with PSY. And so kind of like it sort of has like a yin and yang type of meaning.
Yeah.
Like the logia being like the flower and like sort of the beauty, and then the psy kind of coming from like psychosis, like sort of a darker side. And that's really what Psylosia is like kind of this balance of darkness and lightness, beauty and darkness and in life that we all experience, and sort of romanticizing and dramatizing like the dark moments, to get through them. So that's kind of where the name comes from and what it means. So
that is really awesome. And creating the name, how you came up with it, that's you're a true artist, no doubt.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And so you were talking about, when you guys were trying to decide like, what kind of sound that you wanted to produce. I guess you're sort of drawn to like, the dark pop sound, that haunting sort of vocals. Some of your songs, you almost do like this, like your falsetto or something is like kind of like Middle Eastern as well. But you did say that you took like vocal lessons and stuff when you were growing up?
Yeah. I grew up, doing chorus and that kind of thing, like always in a vocal choir. So I learned a lot of technique and really developed like a foundation of singing technique there. And then when I embarked on like my own personal singing journey, I've been working with my personal coach, Beth Cohen, who is in South Florida Voice Studios. Sorry. And she's amazing. I've been working with her for probably about 4 years at this point. And I've just really developed like kind of my own sound with her and with Dolph too, through all the music we've made. But yeah, I think I do tend to, I like to lean towards like certain, I don't know, frequencies, or like maybe Middle Eastern stuff or like bluesy stuff. Like I really lean towards those melodies, just freestyling and that kind of thing. So
do you play any instruments?
Not really. I kind of mess around a little bit on the guitar.
Cool.
But I don't really play. I need to practice more and try to actually like pick up an instrument. But yeah, I'm mainly just a vocalist.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I thought I saw, because we were doing like some research and stuff like that and watching some of your videos. And I thought that I saw a video of you on YouTube and there was a guitar in the background. So I was like, I wonder if she plays guitar. Wait, did I get that right? Did you have a guitar in the background somewhere?
I have posted a few videos where I'm just like playing like the few chords I know and singing along with it. But also Dolph plays guitar and he's actually very good at playing. So sometimes he will play and then I'll sing and we'll freestyle or like, do an acoustic performance or whatever. So yeah.
Have you guys done any live shows yet or what?
We have not really done like a real show. We've just done, kind of local stuff around Miami. But that's definitely something we're working on. I am so excited to eventually, put together a tour and shows. And yeah, we're already actually like starting to kind of figure out, the technicality of it all and our setup and how we want the show to feel. And so I'm hoping within maybe the next, year, we can put together a tour. So yeah.
Yeah, at least here in Florida, right? That would be cool.
Yeah, something. So
is he down to do like a live performance with you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
We want to do a lot of stuff, a lot of performances together. And he's amazing on guitar and really adds like, another layer and kind of experience with playing guitar. So definitely.
That's really cool. Yeah. I produce music too, but I totally prefer to stay in the studio. Like, like I will, at least in the studio, like if I mess up, I can like redo it, so.
Yeah, that's the thing about live is, you only get one shot.
Yeah, that's true. And so like, as far as like the future of music with like AI and all that stuff, where do you see like the music industry going? And then let's say the next 10 years.
Oh man.
That's a deep question, right?
No, but it's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, I think personally, like I've been learning a lot about how the industry works, like ever since I started Psylosia. That was also another reason of starting Psylosia, was being an independent artist and really, really being firm on that and wanting to be an artist that I guess, really advocates for independence in this industry. So I think, since starting Psylosia, I've really noticed how certain artists have, like Russ, or I don't know if you're familiar with Russ or Nick D, or some of these like successful independent artists that I've discovered. And when I started Psylosia, really were and still are now like the blueprint for me, or kind of the goal of how I want to build my career and business independently. So I think that's what is really exciting to me is, the power that we have now to be independent and, to really just be your own label and your own business at the end of the day. Like that's what I think is really cool and encouraging about, this time period now and, the future.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. So, but I also think, AI is of course already here, and it's definitely making itself known. And I don't really know how to feel about AI and especially the AI artists. I mean, that is, I can't lie. It's a bit like creepy and just dystopic,
I agree. I do agree. And that's what, one thing we get a lot of, we call them spam emails, the submissions that we get on Sonic Scout Radio. And I have to do a lot of research because, there's not a lot of, you really have to dive in deep to figure out if the artist is legit or if it's an AI artist because,
it's true.
Yeah, and we just refer to that as spam because essentially that's what it is, you can type in a couple of prompts and I could even be like, I want this dark pop song. I want it to be about this. And then 5 seconds later, you've got this track and it's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating. But so have you had any record label bites and anything from any indie labels or anything like that or? To sign you?
Yeah, cool. I definitely have had actually quite a few people in my DMs and emails with offers, it's for, I don't know, certain different deals, record deals or, distribution deals or whatever, management. But, I just actually did just do a deal, but it's very, very much so not your typical record deal. I wouldn't even call it a record deal because like I said before, I'm an independent artist and I really stand on that and I will always be an independent artist. So
is it more of a licensing sort of thing?
Not really even. It's really just a loan. So it's this company called Beat Bread and they basically just advance you based on your current catalog and the value of it. Right. They'll give you, an advance based on that. And then they basically let you customize the deals. So it's they don't own anything. It's just alone with your catalog as collateral, basically. So so yeah, it's basically just based on your catalog, and like you get like they'll just give you an advance on your catalog, and so
That's cool.
that's basically what we did. And so it's no ownership or anything like that. It's just based on like the value of the catalog, and then it's you just pay back the loan through the royalties of the songs over time.
Yeah. So I've got I know quite a few people that have done like similar deals. Have you guys ever had any music supervisors hit you up for like placements for like TV and film or anything like that, or sync licensing or any opportunities like that yet?
A little bit here and there, but I would definitely say sync is something I really want to get into. I just haven't really like figured out how to get my foot in that door yet, because I know that's kind of like its own community in and of itself. And but that's definitely something that we really want to do, because I definitely think our music has like a very cinematic feel.
It does, yeah, and that's the reason I asked that. You guys definitely have the chops for that.
Definitely, yeah, we want to get into that as soon as we can.
That's really awesome. I'm just looking at my questions here. What song was it of yours that really you were like, wow, this is really starting to hit? And like, what was, I guess, the highlight of your music career as Psylosia thus far?
I would say definitely like probably 2 years ago when we released Pay For You. And
I love that song.
Yeah, thank you. It's one of my favorites too. And that was like the first one to really, I guess, blow up. It didn't like blow up crazy huge, but it did blow up for us, and it was the first song to really start doing something. And it was actually probably the only song that I've had go somewhat viral on social media. So that obviously helped.
Yeah.
And then when we released Here We Go Again last year, I think it's been about a year since that one came out. That also was one of our top performing songs, still is. So I would say those, and Beauty and You Too has kind of climbed up since its release. I would say those, top songs have probably been my like greatest accomplishment so far, or even just this deal that we just did with Beat Bread, just the fact that our catalog has grown this much over just only barely 3 years, to the point where we were able to get an advance to now basically use for like our new catalog, because now our plan is to use the advance we've got to market all of our new songs, and then kind of rinse and repeat, sort of, so you get some money, and then you put it back into, I mean, it's just it's a business, right? Yeah, exactly. So learning how to run a business, is kind of it is something that you're signing up for, when you want to become an artist. And so I think that's just like something I really want to advocate for on my platform, and something I wish I would have known when I got into this, but I just learned through, experiences.
Now, as much as, I'm sure people would love to be saved and healed by Psylosia, do you still have plans on being a nurse?
I mean, gosh, it's definitely something I think about like here and there. It was definitely a passion, for sure. I think that because I went through a pretty like intense surgery experience growing up, and so being a patient, I think, really impacted me to, the care I received impacted me to want to give that to someone else, and it just definitely gave me like a purpose in life of, I just want to help people in whatever way I can. And so that was, a huge motivation behind wanting to be a nurse. And it's definitely something I still think about, and a passion I still have. I kind of put it in my back pocket as like, if this doesn't work out, that's a trade kind of I can always go back to.
Exactly. I was going to say, wait till you're like 34 or something. And if you're not getting like, tens of millions of whatever and not, being comfortable enough financially, then that's something you could always kind of fall back on, right?
Yeah, that was kind of the idea, but I would definitely say it was indeed like a passion, it wasn't just like a job. But I think that was another reason that I wanted to do music and get into the arts, is because I felt like it was a way to help people on like an even bigger scale, in a different way. But,
exactly what I was just going to say. Music, can be like emotionally healing, and you guys definitely, you with your vocals and all of that. I mean, you're helping, hundreds of thousands of people now, but as you grow and stuff like that, it's going to turn into tens of millions. And that's something that, you couldn't otherwise have that impact on so many people if you were working in a hospital or something like that. But either way, I just think it's really cool. You're just,
thank you so much.
It's just a very sweet thing, very thoughtful thing to do. And so like for your fans, I'm going to ask you some really kind of silly questions. What's kind of like a weird habit of yours that you have?
Oh man. I would say I definitely have like some bad habits for sure. I'm terrible with cracking my knuckles. I'm always cracking my knuckles. It's like definitely like a nervous twitch, probably. Yeah. I'm like always trying to crack something in my body. It's like so bad.
Yeah, that's so funny. And so, what do you like? What sort of idiosyncrasies or like bad habits do you get really annoyed by when other people do?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's a good
Are you
question.
like a road rager driving or anything like that?
Oh my gosh, sometimes yeah, and I honestly have to like check myself because I'm like, okay, calm down. And I definitely think I've gotten worse since I've moved to Miami, because
Miami is a little nuts.
I mean, it's almost like it kind of almost feels like being in like a different country here, and it's just everyone is on the road all the time. There's so much traffic. It's just insane.
And it's 24 hours a day too, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, sometimes, I'll be coming home from like the studio in the, wee hours of the morning, and there'll be like traffic, and like, what is going on,
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think I can answer this question, but your favorite color is pink, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool.
That one is an obvious one.
And so like what is your like go-to favorite type of like food? Do you like pizza, Chinese, Mexican, like?
Oh man, I mean, oh gosh.
If you had to eat like one thing for like say like 6 months straight, what would it be?
I mean, I feel like you can't go wrong with just, something simple like, I don't know, grilled chicken, like rice, veggies, but like saucing it up, like if I had to eat one thing, like, I don't know, but I mean, I feel like you can also make fun, like, I mean, I find so many recipes on TikTok and stuff. Like, yeah, I do actually love cooking.
Okay. Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do. And I find a lot of recipe inspiration on social media. Yeah. And like one of my favorite recipes that's really easy are these things called like burger tacos. And you just like take the meat and like put it on the tortilla and just put it down on the stove. And it's like a really quick, easy, meal. So I don't know. I find a lot of like innovative, simple recipes like that on social media that I like.
That's really cool. Yeah, I love to cook too. And and so not to get too personal, but like, what is your birth sign?
I'm a Gemini. My birthday.
Gemini.
My birthday is June 7th. I'm 24, so I was born in 2001.
Right on. Okay. Yeah. So Geminis are extremely smart.
Oh, well, that's
my daughter. I have a daughter that's a Gemini, and she's extremely smart.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah. So that's really awesome. And what's like the best concert? Have you been to any concerts lately, like in the last year or two?
Yeah, actually, I have been to some pretty good concerts here in Miami. Some cool artists have come through. I got to see Billie Eilish on her Hit Me
Oh,
Harder
wow.
Soft tour. She
Nice.
came, I think it was October and November. I saw her, and I got like last minute tickets. A friend of mine was selling them, and so I actually went with Dolph, and we went to the show. It was amazing. It was so cool. I'd never seen her live, and she's definitely an inspiration of mine. And so that was an awesome show. And then I also saw Artemis a few weeks ago. He came to Miami Beach, and I was like, oh my God, I have to see
Ah,
Artemis with Ella Bow opening. I really love them, and they're kind of in my genre, you know. So yeah, that was an amazing show. Really cool venue. That was my first time at the Fillmore in Miami Beach. And
nice.
yeah, so those are the recent shows I've been to here. I also go to Three Points almost every year, and that's always, you know, a great time. So
Yeah. Do you
yeah,
like house music at all?
I do. Yeah, I mean, I have definitely gotten into that scene, you know, living here the past few years.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely really got into it just living here and, you know, going to Space and Floyd and some of the festivals.
Yeah. I was
So,
just going to ask if you've been to space.
oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Space is
Yeah.
awesome and Floyd too. I haven't been much recently. Like I was going more kind of like when I first turned 21 and, you know, we got it out of my system a little
Yeah.
bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of just go on occasion now. So
So if you were to go to a club and go up to the bar, what drink would you order?
oh man, I mean, I'd probably say my favorite is like a margarita.
Okay. You
Like,
like
you
tequila?
know, yeah, I like tequila like on a
Yeah.
night out. Or like I love a frozen marg, and I actually just
Yeah.
learned how to make them at home. They're so easy to make.
Yeah. They're so easy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
easy. But I also love just like a glass of wine, you know, if I'm, I don't know, I guess like a more chill place out or dinner or whatever.
Yeah, that's really cool. Are you guys currently working, on new releases now, right?
Yes, yes, we're working
Cool.
on a lot of stuff. So yeah, the first few months of the year, we were just trying to find, you know, in advance, and then we found Beat Bread, and we did our deal through them, and that took kind of a few months to get all of that going, and then, you know, they're collecting on our previous catalog, so we kind of had to wait for all of that to go through to kind of okay, now we're starting like our new I guess, chapter of Psylosia. And so we're going to be starting to release a single a month again, like we were. And we're going to have one come out this month and then another one next month. And I'm hoping to, well, we are also going to launch our website and merch.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so, and working on some live streams too to kind of start testing out our live setup for shows and have people be able to watch that and kind of see that evolution into the actual live shows. So yeah, lots of stuff like
Yeah.
that. Just trying to expand, you know, what we're already doing, just grow everything more. So
Yeah, I don't think people realize, especially, people that are using AI and stuff now, but people just don't realize like how much work goes into music production,
yeah,
how much work goes into, even just like being active on social, you're launching a website now,
yeah, yeah,
you're in
no,
the studio constantly. I mean,
man.
you're a busy girl, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it kind of is a little unfortunate because I think in the creative industries, like a lot of people can tend to not really look at it as a real job, you know? It's like, oh, well, you're just kind of like having fun, right? Like you do
Yeah.
music. And it's like, yes, you know, of course, I love what I do and that's why I do it. But it is, you know, a business at the end of the day that you have to run, especially if you're
Right.
independent. You know, you are the one that's literally running the business. And right now it's really literally just me and Dolph that do everything. So
Right
so
on.
it's just two people, you know, doing all of this. So yeah, it's we're busy and him especially, I mean, he'll be, you know, producing in the studio for like just 15 hours, and just
Yeah, and
lose
that's
track of time.
I've worked with a lot of different recording artists, and I can, I've told people before, I could spend anywhere from 30 to like even up to 60 hours just
Oh, yeah.
on one song, and that's like getting it like just in pre-master mode, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Of course, I always send off for mastering. I don't ever do my mastering myself, but I mean, it's a lot of work because there's so much detail. You're like, you're lining up all of your stacks. You're taking out all of the breaths, and just doing all the transitions, and making sure like that one, like I can spend like an hour looking for that right snare, or like trying to tweak it and tune it in. And I'm guessing you and Dolph are like the same way, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then him, more so because he's really the one that's producing like the tracks. And so, I mean, yeah, he'll spend, like 20 hours on just one, small section of the song and trying to get the right melody for it, or the right like tone of the synth, or whatever, small stuff like you were saying, it's just so much goes into each little part. And then of course the vocals, like this new song we had to push back a bit because there was just so many layers to it, and we were trying to get the bridge right, and then he had to edit all the vocals, and we did all these harmonies, and it's just like again, just he and I at the end of the day. So
is he using Pro Tools or
Yeah, he uses Pro Tools to record and, edit the vocals, and then he produces on FL Studios.
Right on. I'm going to say this right now, Dolph, if you're listening. I love your production, and I love you even more now that I know that you're on Pro Tools.
Yeah. Even though, I can't lie, she gives us issues from time to time.
Well, I mean, I just bought a brand new Mac Studio HD, and I'm like, oh, this is going to fix all my problems. But I mean, Pro Tools, when you're running like a gazillion plugins and all that stuff, I mean, you're going to have issues.
She's got a little attitude of her own,
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely like ghosts in the machine on some days. Sure. I'm like, what? It's frustrating. I know. So like, if you got this brilliant idea at like, midnight or whatever, and Dolph isn't around, do you like do any of the recordings on your phone just to get the idea down? Or do you have like any sort of setup at home that you use, GarageBand, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I actually have like my own template on Pro Tools that he made for me to make it easier to record like myself, but I don't normally just record like random ideas that way, because I still have to like set everything up and open up the computer, blah blah blah. So normally if I'm just if I have an idea or I'm writing something, I'll literally just like record it on my phone and just do a voice memo, and then I just put it in Dropbox, and we share Dropbox so he can access it from there and start messing around with it. So
that's really cool. And so let me ask you, what inspired the song Don't Pretend?
Don't Pretend. So Don't Pretend started out as literally an idea that just came to me. I think it was literally like the beginning of the song. Just kind of that melody, then like those lyrics just came to me. Sometimes that will happen, ideas just
were you top lining, like did he have like an instrumental, or you came up with the vocals first?
No, I was literally just like, I think he was in like another room or in the bathroom or something, and like I just literally had like this idea come out of nowhere, and I thought the melody was cool, and I really liked it. So I just recorded it on my phone. And then when he came back, I was like, hey, I just had this idea. Like, what do you think? And he was like, oh, I like it. And so then we started making the song from there. But the inspiration kind of behind it was, it's a bit deep, but, I guess most of my stuff is.
It is, yeah.
But it's kind of actually about like reflecting on something, and you realizing that you never wanted it to be this way, but like it ended up being the outcome that, you were trying to avoid or you were hoping would never happen. And, I try to like kind of protect like some of my personal, really, really personal stuff that is like
You don't go all Taylor Swift on your exes or whatever.
I mean, sometimes, of course, but I definitely think like a lot of what music is and writing for me is just processing like trauma. And lots of things. Of course, some of the songs I write are fictional and, but then some of them are, from something I went through or, trying to process something in my past. And that's kind of definitely was the inspiration for this one. I would say kind of unpacking some like childhood trauma of just, family stuff and dynamics and that kind of thing of like, man, like viewing myself as a child and kind of from that childlike perspective, thinking like it would turn out this way that was more magical and, happy. And then it's like real life, sometimes isn't that way. But then I guess for me, a way to, I guess, make it all better is kind of putting it into the art and making something beautiful out of something that wasn't, or something that was hard or negative or whatever. So kind of a deep explanation, but that's, the reality of it.
Yeah, that's great. That's perfect, actually. What is your favorite of your songs?
Oh my gosh. I mean,
you just like them all. I would too if I were you. I would be so proud of myself.
Oh, well, thanks. I mean, yeah, I definitely love all of them, but I would say I'd say maybe some of my personal favorites are actually some of the ones that are like a bit more underrated. I think when you asked me in the email about like songs I wanted to feature, I think I mentioned two of the ones that are a little more like low key, I guess, haven't had as much recognition as some of the other ones. Like,
which ones are those?
Call It What It Is.
Okay.
Is one of my personal favorites. It's more like low key. And then Step Back too. Step Back is also one of my favorites that I felt like maybe didn't necessarily get like the spotlight that maybe I felt like it deserved. But that's just like how it goes as an artist.
Yeah.
And you just have to I just say put everything out there, because I've also released songs that I'm like not even that crazy about. I don't even really, I'm like, yeah, it's not my favorite, but I'm still going to release it because I know that someone out there is going to love it and connect with it.
What has been like the biggest challenge that you've had to face since being an independent artist and deciding that this is what you're going to do?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would say there's been like a few big challenges. Probably the first big one was just leaving home.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Oh man. Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
No, actually, I'm an only child.
Oh, so I bet your parents were like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Like,
have they been to Miami to see you?
Yeah, they've my mom has been and my dad, he's planning his trip to come soon. So
nice.
Yeah,
cool.
but yeah, just leaving home was so tough. And I left pretty much right after high school. So I was 18, and that was definitely so hard. And I had so much anxiety when I moved here because I was just like, what am I doing with my life? And
you're in like a big, huge city.
Exactly. Yeah. That too.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's another reason, why I love it here so much is because I felt like, I grew up in kind of, I guess, more of like what the rest of like America is like, and then when I think that's why I like fell in love with Miami so much is because it felt like I was in a different country, a different place, and people are from everywhere. And, but yeah, leaving home was very tough. And adjusting to living here and being on my own was super tough. But also I think when I got into, making music, like I didn't know what I was doing. And I definitely like my first kind of attempt, I guess, at doing it was really tough. And it really wasn't good. I got involved in like not a good deal. And, you know, just, yeah, kind of, that was how I learned, you know, learn my lesson the hard way as to, you know, kind of like all the independence stuff that I'm really standing on now, and why I actually have so much passion for that is because I went through definitely like a bad deal of my own, that I can hopefully talk more about in the future. But yeah, that was, you know, when that did come to an end, I mean, I was at a point where I was like, can I even, you know, do this? And then I was like, no, I can't give up now. You know, I've already been here in Miami for like 2 or 3 years at that point. And I was like, I have to do it. So.
Right. Even with COVID, like you went back home and then you went back to Miami. So you do, it must be like at this point, it's home to you, right?
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's kind of my own like home that I've created. And also my cousin is here.
That's
and
cool.
She's really like the closest thing that I've had to a big sister. And she and her fiance live here. And so they're, you know, also kind of like they are my family here. So
that's awesome.
I have them as a little family unit. And then of course, Dolph is like family too. So yeah, you know, I would say she was the one that really like brought me here and introduced me to it. And I was able to maintain a little family unit with her and build my own connections from that. So.
Right on. And so do you have any kitty cats or dogs or anything?
I do. Yes. I'm a huge animal lover.
Me too. That's awesome.
Love animals. All
what do you
animals.
Have? Kitty cat?
I have, I have one cat and I have one dog.
One of each. Very cool. Nice.
One of each.
Do they get along?
Yeah, they do. They're best friends. Cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really
yeah,
awesome.
They're both girls and they're both rescue girls and they're really sweet. So
yeah, that's really, really cool. Yeah. And wait, let me ask you, are you a spiritual sort of person at all? Do you think
I would say
yourself to be?
Definitely in my own way, you know. I wasn't like raised in any really like I guess strictly religious environment, but I definitely was raised like going to church with, you know, my grandparents, and like I went to a Catholic middle school. But I did
too.
Oh wow! Oh my God!
Yeah. My godmother is actually a nun. She was my teacher. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I love that. But yeah, I would say I kind of practice like faith and spirituality like in my own way, you know.
Right on.
But yeah, I'm definitely like try to connect with the universe and spirituality as much as I can and that kind of thing. So yeah.
That is really awesome. I personally do believe in that there is power in prayer, and what you put out into the universe is what you're going to get back.
That's really it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
That's right. And man, it's been so awesome talking to you. I literally could go on and on with questions, but it's going to be a lot for me to edit because I'm almost at an hour already.
I know, right? Yeah. I've had so much fun talking with you. This is awesome. And I'm so excited and I would love.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
Likewise. We'll talk with you soon, okay?
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.